Hey everybody, this is Teresa with Cosmetology Exam Review in the Intentional Classroom, and today we are going to talk about advanced nail products. So I chose this one. I know I always have a reason why I chose the topic I did. After working with schools throughout the country, I find that a lot of schools kind of skim over advanced nails because the focus is really cosmetology, and I get that. That's what you signed up for. However, you do need to know just enough to be dangerous, right? You need to know what products are for what. You need to know how we use them because that information will appear on your state exam. I don't know of a state that doesn't include some of that. So I figured we could do a quick overview and just kind of review the products that you're likely to know. Okay, so with that, our objectives for this quick lesson is to review some of those chemicals, understand which techniques do which, explore some of the ugly chemicals, and hopefully inspire you to want to know more. I'll be totally honest, when I was in hair school, I tried advanced nails. I was terrible at it. And I remember going to my instructor saying, take me out of nails. I hate this. I can do a mani-pedi. I don't want to do this. And I regretted it ever since. And so as a professional, I went back and played around. And it really, when you had a good teacher, it was quite fun. So, just keep an open mind that this could be yet another source of revenue for you. So even though I'm preparing you for a state exam today, you really might want to think about taking some lessons with like Wildflowers or some of these cool nail companies to really kind of hone those skills in. All right. So what makes it advanced nails? Well, we're working beyond the natural nail, right? A manicure, pedicure, all we're doing is really grooming the natural nails. When we talk about advanced nails, this is an additional skill set. This is about extending the nails and adding things that really go beyond that mani-pedi, okay? We're using much stronger chemicals, so we really need to understand what we're doing a little bit more, okay? So the main chemical that we use, or the main product that we use when we do advanced nails, is acrylic. Everyone's heard of acrylic. This is all about the art of sculpting artificial nails with or without a tip, right? We're trying to actually add length to the nails, strength to the nails. There's a couple different things we could be doing with it. We use a combination of chemicals in acrylic, both a monomer and a polymer. So a monomer is the liquid, okay? So if you've ever played with the advanced nail products, the monomer is the liquid part, okay? It's a 1-unit molecule. So mono means one, a 1-unit molecule, and this is the liquid, okay? The polymer is the powder, PP, right? Polymer powder, polymer powder, polymer powder. Poly means many molecules. So I always use this terrible analogy of like polygamy is many wives, right? So polymer is many polymers or many molecules, okay? So the polymer is the powder. Remember, if you do an acrylic nail, you always have that liquid, you wet your brush, and then you drag it into the powder to create the sculpting bead, okay? So that's what we do. That's the mix, right? We dip our brush into that monomer, we soak the brush, and then we pull it through the polymer, which is the powder, and create a sculpting bead. From there, that paste can be used to actually create a nail, okay? So what are some of the ways we use that acrylic? Well, we can do a tip with overlay. This is kind of the basic form where we actually take a plastic tip, we glue it about halfway down the nail bed, and then we take acrylic and we overlay that nail to kind of blend it all together. So that extra nail can give some strength. It's definitely an easier way to create like nail extensions of some sort compared to the next way, which is sculpted nails. In a sculpted nail technique, there is no tip. Okay, we don't glue anything onto the nail. We take a metal form, we place it under the free edge, and we hand sculpt that actual nail on. Now, to me, these feel a lot more natural because you don't have anything glued to the nail. It's not as thick. It's easier to get a nice, the nail ends up feeling way more natural than it would if you had a tip with overlay. But it's a lot harder to master these because you alone are the creator. You're not using, a piece of plastic to kind of create your shape. You're doing it all by hand. So they take a little more skill set, but to me, they look much nicer. They feel more natural, okay? The last thing you can do with acrylic is to just straight up overlay it. Okay, so I always have short nails. I love acrylic. I do. I love having fancy nails. The more glitter, the better. I love Mylar. I love all the pretty things, but I hate having the length. And, I do so much work on a computer, and even doing hair, it's really, really difficult to do if you have longer nails, in my opinion, totally my opinion. But I can get an overlay if I wanted. So if I had the time and patience, I could still go to a nail salon and have them overlay and still do all of that cool stuff. stuff. And so what I mean by overlay is there's no tip, there's no extension. We're just placing acrylic right onto the nail to add, could add a little bit of strength if it's a weak nail, and to be able to do some of these really cool mylar and glitter techniques that are out there. Okay, so that's how we might actually use acrylic. So the next advanced nail technique that you really need to know is a wrap. Now, the hard thing about wraps is we don't really do them much anymore. When I went to hair school, it was maybe a long time ago, maybe around the 90s. I'm aging myself, I understand, but we still did wraps back then, and they're still useful, and there's still a reason to use them. And so I think it's kind of sad that they've disappeared. But we use fiber and fiberglass, fabric. If I could speak, this would be excellent. Fabric and fiberglass to actually create nail wraps. What do we use them for? Well, we use a nail wrap to mend a broken nail or to extend the nail that you have, okay? We typically use silk, fiberglass, linen, paper, and then we cover it with resin. I don't know what's wrong with me today. It's been a long day. With resin, okay? So what we do is if you have a cracked nail, what you would do is you'd actually take a piece of silk. It's not silk from like Joann Fabrics. It's actual made for nails, a little strip, and you put it onto the cracked area, and then you take resin and you place it over there to harden it, okay? You basically seal the nail so that it can hold on until it's grown out, okay? So that's really why we would use nail wraps. Your state board might ask you something like, all of these are common fabrics or common things to use in a nail wrap, except, okay, so you need to know silk, fiberglass, linen, paper, these are the things we use for nail wraps. So the last thing that I think you really need to know when it comes down to nail chemicals is the big ugly one, which is MMA or methyl methacrylate. MMA is typically illegal in most states, okay? It was not actually passed for cosmetic use. A lot of salons will choose to use it because it's much cheaper than the acrylic that was actually passed for our fingers, okay, for actual cosmetic use. The problem is it's also incredibly damaging and toxic, okay? Toxic in the air, toxic to your skin. It can be cancer causing. It's ugly, ugly stuff, okay? So I remember I've had teachers come in to do demos and bring MMA, and I'm like, absolutely not, okay? So you never want to use MMA, and there's a good chance your state board will ask you which product you absolutely shouldn't be using, and it's, again, methyl methacrylate, all right? And that's it. That's the advanced nails. There's not a lot to learn about advanced nails for your test. There's a ton to learn if you want to make a career out of it, but for your actual test, there's not really all that much there, okay? If you think you need a little bit more, as you probably know at this point, I have launched a review program called Cosmetology Exam Review. Just go to cosmetologyexamreview.com, and I have a total bundled package there that breaks down. I've got over 80 tests, practice tests you can take over and over again. I've got a bunch of explainer videos that break down all of the things that you need to know for your state exam, okay? So I want to help you pass. I thought maybe this was the best way to help you, okay? So go check it out, Cosmetology Exam Review. Make sure you subscribe to this and share with everyone you know that maybe needs a little bit of a review of the products that we use for advanced nails. All right, with that, have an excellent day, guys. Thank you.